What is good, everybody? Welcome to another Niners Nation Instant Reaction podcast. I am Rob Stats Guerrera, and he, as I click him in, is Levin Black. What is up, Levin?
Not the 49ers.
Oh, God. It is just getting worse every game. The 49ers lose their fourth straight game, 30-18 to the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, there's a million different places to go, and they're all bad, unfortunately. It has just, I mean, it's unraveling, Levin. It is getting worse every game. The play calling is getting worse. The offensive execution is getting worse. The defense seemingly is getting worse. I don't know where to start. Where do you want to begin tonight?
You start with, I think, who deserves the lion's share of the blame, and that's the head coach. Kyle Shanahan is coaching like somebody who should not be employed, and that's all there is to it. Like, I think he obviously is not going to be fired because he just got a 6-year extension, and there's no reason to fire him in season. But if he coaches like he has coached this season, I would be in favor of firing him at the end of the year. Like, he should be fired if he continues coaching this way. Was he a good coach in the past? Yeah. Things change. Players get worse. Sometimes coaches get worse. Kyle Shanahan is not the coach he was last year, and he's certainly not the coach he was in 2019. In 2017, 2018, he made miracles with crap quarterback play, and you saw the genius. In 2019, you still saw that, and he won 13 games because he had better than average quarterback play for the first time, and they were able to win. Last year, you didn't see too many of those miracles. You saw a Nick Mullins that played his way off the team rather than in 2018 when he looked like somebody that people were theorizing the Niners could get a second-round pick for. This year, it's regressed more than anybody could have ever predicted, but I don't think there are more than two coaches in the league that have coached worse than Kyle Shanahan this year. Matt Nagy and Urban Meyer are the only coaches doing a worse job than Kyle. Yes, it is that bad. It is that bad.
Oh, man.
It is a team full of players returning. Like, this is not a team having to learn. This isn't, they brought in the wrong players and it didn't work. When you have this many players regressing and playing worse than they have in years past on the same team in the same schemes, there's only one place to go with that. And that is a coach who has lost the ear of the players. And I think that's where we're at. I don't think this locker room is fully behind Kyle.
There's a lot of, because you can't say Jimmy Garoppolo gives us the best chance to win and then
you can't double speak.
Lance, but anyway.
You can't spend all offseason trying to replace a quarterback 2 straight years and then come into the season and say, no, he's our guy, when you traded 3 first-round picks for somebody else who's on the roster. Right. I think that is the root issue, is that the locker room is split.
That's definitely part of it. I want to just stay to this game for a minute here because Lance was inactive tonight, so he couldn't have come in anyway. This is the thing that it just pisses me off. Like, one team played this game like they had nothing to lose. Only one. And it wasn't the 49ers. It was the Colts. Again and again and again. Oh, the Colts got all their points except for the final touchdown because of PI penalties.
Because they were aggressive.
Yes, they were not afraid. Kyle Shanahan has been coaching afraid. He's afraid to put Trey Lance in. He's afraid to throw the ball down the field. The Colts secondary was held together with scotch tape and glue. They're missing people left, right, and center. Xavier Rhodes can barely walk pregame, yet he's on the field. The 49ers don't challenge him deep. You don't find a way to get him matched up one-on-one deep and chuck the ball down the field. It's unreal. It is unreal. They are so scared. Kyle Shanahan is so scared. He is so living in his fear that he's not doing it. They're running screens. They're running checkdowns. The Colts are saying, thank you very much, dude. Like, unbelievable.
I think he doesn't like the go route. I don't think he likes throwing the jump ball deep like we saw Wentz doing time and time again. Kyle doesn't like that, and I've ranted on it before, but I think it is a big part of it. I think it's ego. Kyle doesn't like it because nobody looks at the play calling and goes, "Wow, great play calling. He threw a jump ball deep and it worked." No,
like, it doesn't count any less, Kyle.
Right. The quarterback and the wide receiver always get the credit when that happens, but he will not have that play called. He will not allow a jump ball thrown deep until
Kyle,
they're desperate late in the game, and then it's too late.
look at this comment from Randy Rand watching on the Niners Nation Facebook page. By the way, we appreciate your comments. Keep them coming, and they are flying in right now. Randy says Shanahan, and I know you mistyped there, would rather lose and have control versus getting a veteran quarterback like Tom Brady and getting showed out and win. He is a scary coach. Now, I don't know if I agree with all of that, but I think ego is absolutely a part of this. It is. It absolutely is. Because when you call a screenplay, Levin, what is a screen, right? A screen can only work if number one, you fool the defense, and number two, it is called at the right time and it is executed properly. That is a play where if it works, what do they say? What a great call there by Kyle Shanahan. Like, what a perfect timing on that screen pass. Like, yeah, I mean, you kind of heard Mike McDaniel say it earlier in the year when talking about Lance, how the coaching staff, he said, we as a staff, you're a product of your environment, he said, had to make an adjustment to realize, yes, Trey made this play out of structure, but it doesn't matter because we still gain the yards and we still get a first down. And I think that's part of it, is that Kyle Shanahan cannot get out of his own way at this point.
Yeah, and that's a problem. If it continues, he should be fired. That's all there is to it. I don't think there's any chance in hell he gets fired unless he goes off the rail and starts talking shit, and press conferences, starts really pissing off players. If you start having people like George Kittle speaking up against Kyle because Kyle just lost it in press conferences or something, that's a different scenario. Highly unlikely. But Kyle is coaching that way. And, I tweeted it out. What did the Colts do on 3rd and long all game long? They just threw it up for grabs because guess what? If it's intercepted, it's like a punt anyways.
Yep.
It's 30, 40 yards down the field. What did the 49ers do on 3rd and long? They
Screen.
called a screenplay to the freaking running back. They literally dumped it down, called it quits, played
Pack it in.
pack it in, quitting mentality,
Mm-hmm.
and players pick up on that. You don't think the players picked up on the end of the first half when the Niners got the ball with 1 minute left?
Mm-hmm.
And Kyle just said, screw it, we're going to halftime when the Niners don't even get the ball.
Oh, we got a penalty. Can't do anything about it. We got a penalty.
Yeah.
That's it. Give up. Don't, God forbid, we might turn the ball over.
Players pick up on that. That is a coach giving up. And when a coach is doing that, he shouldn't be around anymore.
It sends a message to the team. And here's the thing, Levin. The 49ers are so scared they might commit a turnover. Well, guess what? They committed 4 tonight. 4 turnovers. And I'm sorry, I don't want to hear about the weather. Okay. Some of you guys are saying weather. Forget that. The weather didn't affect the Colts. The Colts were 6 for 14 on 3rd down. That's almost 50%. You know what the 49ers were? 1 for 11. And the first one didn't come until the 3rd quarter. It is hideously bad what the 49ers are doing on offense. Their offense is terrible. They had a great drive in the first quarter. Great drive. Kyle came out. He looked like he spent the entire 2 weeks figuring out how to fix the offense. They were running misdirection plays, counter plays. Elijah Mitchell was chewing up yards. They were bootlegging Garoppolo on play actions. He was rolling out. He was finding guys down the field. They were easy, designed throws, the Jimmy Gimmies, and it was great. And then after that, they did nothing for the rest of the first half. And I knew, Levin, that this freaking game was over the second they didn't stick the ball in the end zone after the first Colts turnover. After that first fumble on their one play, the 49ers get the ball back and they do diddly poo and they kick the field goal. And that was it. I knew it. I knew we were going to see another crap off. Nothing changed over the bye week, Levin. Nothing changed.
So, you know what this game play calling wise reminded me of?
Uh-oh.
It was Kyle reverting back to the criticisms that he had when he was hired. What was the one big criticism that he had? That he would want to pass too much and he would abandon the run game for his own, faults. And that's exactly what he did. The run game dominated that first drive. They passed a couple times, but it was the run game that got it going, and it was the run game with misdirection. They even talked about it during the broadcast that you can see these misdirections, and the Colts are diving towards the misdirection and then having a running lane after. What did they do after that first drive? They tried passing it on first down. They tried just running plain Jane vanilla runs up the gut. They tried running out of shotgun. They didn't try misdirections. Like, this is Kyle there's no way other to put it than being a moron. Something worked,
But like,
and he
he's not
decided
a
to never do it
moron.
again.
That's what I
He
don't
is right
get.
now. We know he can be incredibly smart and be the best offensive mind in the game. But right now, yes, he is. He is coaching
He
really,
is
really dumb.
he's
And he
football
is,
stupid.
yes, he is. When, look, I'm no savant, I'm no genius when it comes to football. I can sit on my couch and predict who is getting the ball more than 50% of the time. I've literally been sitting there doing that during games the last few weeks,
Yep.
and I can literally do it based on how they're lined up and based on the motion because it's predictable. He's doing the same things over and over and over and over. He might try to do a slight adjustment, but if you've watched the team enough, which guess what? Opponents watch a lot of film, so they have. They've
Oh,
watched
they
them.
do?
Yeah. So they know.
Oh.
Like there was the Deebo it was the first Deebo screen, the one that didn't work at all, and he got tackled for a
Which one was
loss.
that?
Yeah. The one that he got tackled for a loss in the first half.
Yeah.
He literally went into motion. Now, and I bet Deebo's getting the ball on a screen. And then this is the worst part to me. He got past Jimmy, and his last couple steps prior to the ball being hiked, he actually slowed down, turned his body halfway, and looked back at Jimmy. He telegraphed that he's getting the freaking ball. And that's on players too. Like players aren't without blame here. The players are not executing. And yes, I think when coaches lose a locker room and their instructions start falling on deaf ears, so to speak, a
Yep.
lot of that is coaching, but it's also some on the players. You're professional. And Deebo, in my opinion, you could say he had a 100-yard game. He had a horrendous game because he
That
telegraphed
fumble
the
was
screen.
a killer.
Right. He telegraphed that screen. That's his first mistake. But then he had the fumble, which was terrible. He
Yep.
had a drop on a screen, once again, terrible. And then that well, it wasn't the last interception, but the interception with Deebo that ended the game essentially. I saw a lot of people say that's on Jimmy. How can you throw that? Well,
Wasn't a good pass.
it wasn't the best of passes. It literally hit Deebo right in the hands. Didn't touch anybody else. Deebo was open for a comeback. That is a safe, reliable first down. It is your defender. The cornerback was on his backside. When the cornerback is on your backside and there's a lane to pass it through, it doesn't matter how many defenders are close. If there's a lane and the DB who's actually covering him is on the backside of the receiver, that means that comeback is going to be open. And Jimmy timed it right and got the ball there, and it went right through Deebo's hands, right into the defenders. That is on Deebo. Like you can say Jimmy shouldn't have thrown it. I think that is people wanting to blame Jimmy. Like Jimmy had a terrible game, but
Terrible.
that play was not on Jimmy. That was Deebo causing his second turnover. And then he also ruined 2 screen passes on top of it. He had a terrible game. Why? And I tweeted it out. Why isn't he in the doghouse? Why
You know
can
what?
Deebo cause turnovers, but Ayuk just doesn't show the grind and he can't be involved with
Because
that?
Debo's the only one doing anything, Leb. Look at the box score. 7 catches for Debo, 100 yards and a touchdown. No other wide receiver had more than 1 catch. Charlie
Right.
Warner
He's the
had
one
2
getting the
catches,
opportunities.
and Hasty had 3 catches. Nobody else did anything.
I'm
Ayuk,
not I'm not
1
saying
target.
I'm not saying this is a criticism to Kyle. I'm not saying Deebo should be in the doghouse and not get the ball anymore. I am saying that maybe you should get the ball in your playmaker's hands as much as possible. And when you're only doing that for one player, the defense knows and can key on it. You need to
So,
get Ayuk involved, period. And the fact that Kyle is criticizing him both publicly and behind closed doors to the announcers, he told
right,
Al and Collinsworth
right.
that he needs to show the grind. No, like, I'm sorry, I know we're live, but he can go
No,
fuck himself with that.
oh, all right. Easy with those. All right. Come on now. There could be children's
That
watching.
that's my one. He can. Like that I do not agree with that mentality whatsoever. It's clearly not working for one. So maybe you should change it up. And that's one of the keys to coaching is treating players how they need to be treated because each player is individual. Some players respond to tough love, some players don't. Ayuk is clearly not responding to what the Niners are doing, but they refuse to change their mentality, and they did the same stuff to other players in the past. Matt Breida went from part of the offense to completely doghouse, never seen from again.
Yep.
Dante Pettis did the same thing, which, by the way, Dante Pettis had a touchdown
Oh,
and like
dude,
4
so what?
receptions today.
He sucks. He's like the 8th wide receiver on the Giants. Forget that. Bill Kling watching on the Niners Nation Facebook page. Shanahan needs to not be allowed to call, and I think he meant to write plays,
Yeah.
which, you know what, is a fair question to be asked. And I'm fascinated to see what Kyle. First of all, what the
Ask
hell
it.
was that challenge? The
Yeah.
Colts go for it on 4th down. They get it by a lot. They fumble it. They lose some yardage, but they are clearly past the marker, which you could tell on a first watch of any replay. And Kyle Shanahan throws the challenge flag. What?
Right.
What the
There,
hell? And you know what?
there's
Like, it's not just on him because I'm sure he has people watching the replay, but like, what the hell's going on? And then he tries to get him to pick up the flag. Like, they're unraveling, Levin.
Kyle is unraveling, and the
Yeah.
players are unraveling with the coach. The players will go as the coach goes. But I don't care what was being said in Kyle's headset there. I
Right.
don't care if the person upstairs said, "Hey, you need to challenge that." Kyle has his own set of eyes, and everybody could see that not only did the receiver catch it, but the Colts clearly recovered it, and the recovery was like 3 yards past the sticks anyway. So no
It
matter
was
what happens, it's a first down. There's no excuse there. Like
no.
even if somebody told Kyle challenge it, Kyle should be like, "Hey, I'm not stupid.
I have eyes.
I have eyes." Yeah, like it's on Kyle. Like that is one of the dumbest challenges in the history of challenges, and there's no way of getting out of that. That might be the worst challenge in the history of challenges because there was no ability to win that period
Right.
from the
And
get-go because
I
the
think the
Niners didn't
refs
even recover it. It
the
wasn't like
refs
they
were
got the
like,
ball on it and then it got stripped away and it's
yeah.
a question of who recovered it. No, the Niners literally didn't even come close to recovering it.
The refs were like, you're
What are you challenging?
you're
Yeah.
challenging? Like, what are you challenging? You know, like, oh man, the comments. I can't even read the comments. They're coming in so fast. Oh man. Oh, this is just mean, but I'm gonna put it on the screen anyway. Aether Break watching on the Niners Nation YouTube page. Shanahan has shown over the past few years he has less mental fortitude than Jim Kelly in the Super Bowl. Something is clearly wrong with him. Dude, don't ever question Jim Kelly's toughness. Okay. Just look at after his career. The poor guy's been going through so much with medically. Jim Kelly's one of the toughest dudes there ever was. Plus, he was playing against some legendary Cowboy teams in the Super Bowl, which by the way, it pains me to say that because I hate giving compliments to the Cowboys, but let's not bag on Jim Kelly. But Kyle during the game looked shell shocked to me.
Yeah.
They cut to
After the
him.
first quarter, he looked shell shocked.
He was
Once
in a
things started to unravel and weren't working.
yeah. He was in the hoodie and they just showed him and he just was looking. He was looking like he could not believe what was happening, which is stunning to me because all the rest of us are saying, I can't believe you're doing this again. Of course, this is happening. Like we talked about it all week. The Niners are banging their heads against the wall with this offense again and again and again. And instead of looking around the corner to see if there might be a door there where they could just walk through the door, they don't even check. They don't even check. They keep Trey Lance off the field. Other weeks, obviously not this week. They keep Trey off the field. They don't throw the ball to Brandon Ayuk. They don't even look for alternatives. That's the stunning thing to me. And we have to watch it again and again and again. And they just keep losing. And now it's 4 straight. You can kiss the division goodbye. You can kiss the playoffs goodbye, Levin. This team
Yeah,
is going
it's not a good team.
nowhere fast. It's over.
It's a matter of how bad the train wreck goes.
Yep.
How many players play their way off of this team? Put it this way, it's a matter of does the team need a rebuild or are they able to retool in the offseason? Like that's the legitimate question now. Is this team got enough holes to where
Oh,
it needs a
Christ.
rebuild or not? Let me
Sorry,
guess.
Levin.
He's backing up Jimmy and saying Jimmy didn't play that bad.
Kyle Shanahan on if Jimmy Garoppolo will start next Sunday at the Bears. Quote, I would guess so. I would guess so. You would guess so? What more do you have to see, Kyle? What more do you? I mean, my God, you traded 3 first-round picks to get this kid. Now you're doing everything you can to not play him. Like, what more do you have to see?
It's Jed York time. Jed
Do you have
York
to
needs to
see
step in.
another Jimmy Garoppolo turnover? You need to have one more? What do you have tonight? 3? You need to see another interception? You need to see another 3 and out? Like, what the hell? What the hell? I'm sorry, man. Like, he's got to go. If he goes back to Jimmy Garoppolo, if Trey Lance is
It's
healthy,
healthy.
if
Yeah.
Trey Lance is healthy and he doesn't start him, fire him. He's got to go. He has to go. He
It's a
doesn't
Jed
get
York.
it.
It's a Jed York situation now. This is a situation that if Trey Lance is healthy and Kyle won't play him, then it is time for the owner to step in and say, play him or hit the road. Like Matt Nagy got ordered with Justin Fields.
I mean,
Like We've hit that point where Kyle can't get out of his own way, like you said earlier in the show. Kyle cannot get out of his own way and take his head out of his ass.
This is unbelievable. Well, hold on. Sorry, I'm scrolling and things are coming in here, and I'm going off. I know that sometimes contact is not always put in because the next tweet is Kyle Shanahan did not give Jimmy Garoppolo a ringing endorsement after his 3 turnover performance. Asked if Garoppolo will start, he said, "I would guess so. We'll have to watch the tape and see if guys are healthy." All right, that's kind of the same thing, Matt Barrows. That was weird. Uh, I mean, like seriously, what are you? They call plays, Levin. They call plays like they're terrified of Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, aren't you tired of calling plays around your quarterback's deficiencies and maybe start calling plays to his strengths? I think you can make the argument if Trey Lance is the quarterback tonight, they win because
Yeah,
Lance would have
I
just
think
run the damn
right.
ball.
A scrambling quarterback is deadly in a rain type game like this. Um, but this is the point that I don't get. This is the hypocrisy that didn't dawn on me until we had already recorded the gold standard earlier this week. Jimmy, or not, sorry, not Jimmy. Kyle said that you don't really change the offense based on the quarterback. The offense is the offense. You just might, have a little more unscripted. He was talking about Trey Lance and whether or not the offense would be drastically different when they go to Trey Lance instead of Jimmy. Well, then why are you placating to Jimmy's deficiencies like you just said? Why are they not calling the deep pass? That is him adjusting the offense for a player's deficiencies. Why wouldn't he adjust the offense for a player's strengths? Like it's hypocrisy. It really is. He's being a hypocrite. He is double talking is what he's doing, and the media won't call him on it. He's saying one thing to make himself look
Yep.
good, and then doing something else on the other hand, and not wanting to take any blame for it. Like it's just BS.
Kyle Shanahan on the scrutiny he's received during the 49ers skid. We've lost 4 in a row, and I'm the head coach of this team. I expect it, and I deserve it. That's the first time I've ever seen him
Ever heard him
criticize
take? Yeah,
himself. That
yeah.
is the first and only time. I mean, like, here is this. Asked if he wished Elijah Mitchell got more action after such a good first series, Shanahan said, "When you go 3-and-out, there's going to be a lot you wish you did more. We couldn't make big plays on first or second down, but got to move the chains on third down, and we didn't do that." He acts like these things happen to him, that he has no part
Yeah.
in that when they fail. It's like, no, you called some shitty plays, Kyle. That's why you didn't do anything with the ball. You didn't challenge the Colts again. I mean, like, how many times can you keep making the mistakes? And I realize that sometimes, like, he does call a shot play and Brandon Ayuk gets open and Jimmy doesn't throw him the ball, and that's not on Kyle. But, like, come on, man. Just call 4 all goes and do not give Jimmy Garoppolo any other option to throw the ball. Like, there is stuff you can do. This team is a mess.
Yeah.
Everybody was right about the 49ers, and everybody was laughing at me before the season started that I do the SB Nation NFL show with. Everybody was laughing at me because I was saying this team can make the Super Bowl. If Kyle plays Lance, this team can make a deep run. And everybody was laughing at me like, you're an idiot. And you know what? They were all right. They were all right, Levin. Kyle Shanahan looks like he's a good coordinator and a crappy head coach. The quarterback situation is an absolute dumpster fire that this team has mismanaged from the second they made the trade up to number 3. The offense is broken. The defensive secondary is an absolute joke. They don't do anything. The ball gets thrown deep. They turn, they face the wide receiver, which guarantees they're going to get a flag thrown on them, and they just grab. That's all they do good. Grab, grab, grab. Everything on this team is broken right now.
And that's without talking about one of the worst drafts to this point there's
Aaron
ever
Banks was
been.
actually active
Like,
tonight. It was a
like
miracle.
we'll see. Time will tell. It's obviously way too early to pass judgment on the draft, but the early
No,
returns
it's not.
are this is one of the worst drafts in the team's history. Because so far, there's been what? Elijah Mitchell is a positive. Lenore was a positive, but the coaching staff won't play him.
Inactive tonight.
Yeah,
But
which
good thing
is
we had Josh Norman there, the human defensive pass interference penalty. I mean, God, he gets
well,
beat
not only that, do
constantly.
you know what he was doing? Like I was tweeting it every time because I started watching him after I noticed it on the first one. He literally every single time they play action, he would completely abandon his person to try to run up and get into the pile. Guess what? You're a cornerback. You're probably not going to get there in time to make the tackle all the way from the outside.
You're
You have a
Josh
much
Norman.
bigger you have a much bigger responsibility, and is to make damn sure your guy gets covered. But he kept abandoning his guy. There was a touchdown off of that, and there were 4 or 5 other catches where Josh Norman literally bit on a play action and crashed inside like he was some kind of linebacker, probably because he thought he could get another punch out, which, yeah, he might be good at punching the ball out, but he's a terrible cornerback. Like,
He
you're really good
sucks.
at this one play every game, but you're really, really bad at all these other plays. Like, he should not be playing, period.
Agreed.
He should
Over
be the backup, the guy that comes in if there's an injury. Lenore should be getting run to see what he has, because he looked
every
really good in those
second.
first 2 games. The fact that he's inactive is inexcusable to me. Like, DeMeco Ryans, I don't care if it's Kyle Shanahan ordering that, which that would be really weird if Kyle Shanahan was ordering what defensive player is inactive instead of DeMeco Ryans. I just don't get it. Like, I do not get why Lenore is an inactive when he played so well early in the season.
How
Like,
about, oh God, Levin, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be jumping around here, but I'm trying to react to comments and
it's
quotes.
going to be one of those games because there's so many different topics.
More Shanahan quote. Actually, I don't want to say quote because I don't see quotes in this tweet, but I'm assuming that this is a quote from Cam Inman. I've got a whole team to worry about, not just thinking about the quarterback situation right now. We had 2 quarterbacks who were hurting this week. Jimmy was able to come back. We'll see if Trey can come back. Kyle, the rest of the team doesn't matter. Like, I guess you just don't understand this. The rest of the team doesn't freaking matter. The quarterback is the only thing that matters. It's the most important position in all of freaking sports, Kyle. That's it. And you can't even get that right. Like, if you get the quarterback decision right, it doesn't matter which third wide receiver plays. It doesn't matter. Like, God, does he just not get this? Like, what the hell? Kyle, the quarterback situation is the only thing that matters. I'm amazed that it's like the team in the offseason was run by somebody else. It's like somebody else did all the moves in the offseason and did all the press conferences. And now there was like aliens and pod people came down and took Lynch and Shanahan away, and they've replaced them with these 2 idiots who don't know what the hell they're doing.
I think it's time to get some answers onto who makes the final decisions for real. Because it's always been believed Kyle, but I don't think it ever
It's
got
Kyle.
100% confirmed. I'm talking about draft here.
Yeah, no, it's Kyle.
They need
Lynch
to find out. They need to find out, did Lynch make the call on drafting Banks? Was Lynch the one wanting Banks, or was it Kyle? Did Kyle? Because to me, if it's an offensive player, it's almost definitely Kyle, because Kyle's going to have what he wants and thinks fits his scheme. So if the offensive players that got drafted aren't contributing, then we should be talking about that and how Kyle shouldn't have any say-so whatsoever when it comes to the draft anymore, because he can't even pick the right players for his own system. But if it's Lynch pushing for these, then obviously Lynch is going to be the scapegoat. And I think that's ultimately what's going to happen. And I think it's kind of BS that Lynch gets no final say from what has widely been reported. Lynch has no final say. Every final say, or every decision on the roster, Kyle has to okay, basically. Like, Lynch can't just go, hey, I'm cutting this guy, and if Kyle says no, he cuts him anyway.
Right.
Kyle
Lynch
decides who is cut.
anything,
Kyle, who
dude.
decides ultimately who's drafted. Kyle decides who starts, plays, all of that. It's all on Kyle. But if the season continues with the way it's going, which it certainly looks like that way because there's no signs of improvement, Lynch will be the scapegoat because they have somebody like Peters who can step right in. They'll try to change the culture by getting rid of Lynch, even though it's not on Lynch, it's on Kyle.
So we questioned the challenge flag earlier. Got an answer for you on that. The 49ers headsets were out when Shanahan threw the challenge flag. He said the refs were going to let him pick it up because of the technical issues, but the league stepped in and forced it to go through, which they should, by the way.
The
Once
rule,
you throw,
yes.
Kyle, don't blame anybody else, man. You said it, Levin. You have
so it's 100% on him.
Like,
it's
don't
100% his decision. Right.
That's hideous.
It's 100%. He couldn't see somebody who was a full 3 yards past the sticks.
So I always ask for your 3 words to describe this loss. So those comments are coming in. Just start Lance from Daniel Mayer. He tweeted us. That's what the rest of the season is about. That is what the rest of this season is about. Just play Lance. That's it. Nothing else matters. You're not making the playoffs. You're not making the playoffs. Not when you only throw to one wide receiver. And don't tell me things are going to get better when George Kittle comes back, because George Kittle hasn't done jack shit this season, because George Kittle is overrated. And I wouldn't be stunned at all, Evan, if he's traded this offseason. I wouldn't be stunned at all if George Kittle never finishes his career with the 49ers.
I don't think he'll be traded. I don't think anybody would trade for it at this point just because of his injuries. He is uniquely valuable to this offense, and we talked about that when he got the
I don't think
contract.
he is. He's not that valuable. They look just as crappy without him as they do with him. I don't think he's that valuable. I think he's overrated because people like him. He's funny as hell, and he breaks a lot of tackles and stuff, but he really doesn't do that much. He really doesn't.
I think he's very good. I do think Niner fans overrate him a little bit because the truth of the matter is he doesn't run very good routes. He's not a polished route runner, which is not shocking considering he almost never ran routes in college. Like, that's what we always said. We always said Kelsey is a polished receiver playing tight end. George Kittle is an offensive tackle playing tight end who is highly athletic. Once teams adjusted and basically keyed on Kittle, where if Kittle leaves that offensive line area, somebody's shadowing him. He's been mostly a non-factor, and we saw that prior to his injury. That was he putting up decent numbers? Decent for a tight end, but he wasn't a difference maker, and that's because teams keyed on him, and he doesn't run routes smooth enough to get open when he's actually keyed on by the defense. The problem is, and the thing that would allow him to get open again, is having enough of a threat elsewhere to where teams can't just key on him. Teams can't assign somebody to him like we saw, but that's not happening.
Kyle Shanahan's last words from his press conference. I have a lot of things to figure out. Yeah, dude, you just had 2 weeks to figure stuff out, and you didn't figure. You missed your chance, you moron. How about this 3 words from Sulks18 watching on the Niners Nation YouTube page? Rain beats Jimmy. Now, I don't know if he's making an excuse or if he's saying all it takes to beat Jimmy Garoppolo is rain.
That should read Jimmy beats Jimmy.
I mean, he sucks. He sucks. And I'm so tired of having to convince people. He's terrible. 16 of 27, 181 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, another hideous freaking fumble. He had 2 fumbles. He lost one of them. Like, it is unreal that we still have to try and convince people. How about this? Christopher Gonzalez, Kyle fails us. That's a good 3 words for this one. If you thought I thought the torches and pitchforks were out for Kyle 2 weeks ago. Well, man, this is.
Well, it's not hard. Even the casual fan watching games can see this is a poorly coached team. Like, it's that bad that even casual fans can see. Like, there's no nuance here. You can see it is a team not being coached well.
You used that intentionally, didn't you?
Why?
That word nuance?
Why?
Because of the big Twitter argument I was in. Oh, never mind. All right. How about this one? Oh, shoot. The comments are coming in so fast. Trice watching on the Niners Nation YouTube page. Another predictable loss. I sure as hell predicted it, Levin.
You texted me in the first half saying game was over. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
A little bit before halftime, you texted me this game's over. I think it was after the was it the fun? It was after one of the turnovers.
Yeah, because the 49ers have no margin for error with Jimmy Garoppolo as the quarterback. No margin for error. Ooh, I like this one. Christopher Johnson watching on the Niners Nation YouTube page. Stats 11. I can't stand this. We've seen this movie before. 6 winning seasons in 20 years. The most talent on offense in Shanahan's regime, and here we are. You know what, Chris? That's a really good point. It is the most talent the 49ers have had on offense, and the offense is the problem. Again. Like, what? If there's one area on this team that shouldn't be a problem, it should be Kyle Shanahan, right? Because he's good. He can take even average players and make them good. Except now he has good players and he's making them average.
There's a really simple way to sum this up. When you are an offensive-minded coach and you're in year 5, and your offense is still bad, that is a really bad sign of your coaching ability. When you're in year 5 and the offense is still bad, and you're supposed to be the offensive-minded guy, it's a problem. Kyle is definitely scared. I see that comment you posted up there. Kyle is scared. And guess what? We were saying that back when we were with the No Huddle podcast together.
That's true.
We were saying that 3 years ago that Kyle coaches scared all the time. Kyle has always coached scared. And I think he has this mentality of, I don't want the offense to be the reason. I really do. I think he has this idea that he doesn't want to go for it on 4th down. He
No,
wants to
God
punt it
forbid.
away. He wants to punt it away and say, "Defense, get me a stop so I can get the ball back because boy, I'm such a genius. That next possession, we're scoring a touchdown." Like he has a certain amount of arrogance, and the problem is as the head coach, that arrogance has gone unchecked to a degree, and it's gotten too big. Like
Michael
clearly,
Murphy.
your offense is the issue. You need to start thinking outside the box.
Michael Murphy watching on the Niners Nation Facebook page. 3 words: smoldering dumpster fire. It's not smoldering, Michael. It is a raging inferno right now. It was smoldering during the bye week because they weren't playing. But I mean, every opportunity, they've gotten every decision wrong, Levin. Every decision they've had to make. They bring back Jason Verrett, he gets hurt. The least surprising thing of all time. He couldn't even make it through a single freaking game. Okay.
Yeah, that was criticized in the offseason that they did not bring in other cornerback help. That they
I
were
mean,
hoping for health again by Barrett.
active players. They don't even have their draft picks active, which means either one, they got the pick wrong and the players are so terrible that they don't deserve to play, or two, they are good enough to play and the 49ers refuse to start them. Like the Brandon Ayuk situation has clearly been handled wrong because even if, let's say, Ayuk is not practicing as hard as they want or whatever, how they're handling it is clearly not working. Like, what is the decision the 49ers got right? Oh, they found Elijah Mitchell? Big deal. You can find a running back on the side of the road, for God's sakes. Like, they have made a mistake at every single way, every single
I think
decision.
this coaching staff has a real issue, and it's an old, outdated mentality that you used to. I mean, I remember growing up hearing it all the time. Bill Parcells, I think, was one of the ones who was notorious for hating rookies. He would not rely on a rookie unless he
Yeah.
had no choice. And it was this idea of unless you know the playbook inside and out, I am not playing you. Well, guess what? Sometimes talent is so good that they might not know the playbook inside and out, but they can still be more effective than somebody else that does know the playbook inside and out, that is better than a veteran. Because it's this mentality of you know what you have in a veteran, you don't know what you have in a rookie. Well, when it's a crappy veteran, what you have is a crappy veteran. Like what, just because you know what it is doesn't mean anything. But I do think Kyle and this coaching staff, maybe DeBico falls into it. I don't know because Lenore's situation is mind-boggling. But they certainly seem to have this very big old school mentality of rookies don't play until they know the entire playbook, which doesn't normally happen until year 2. And I think it's just like I said, it's outdated for a reason. Like rookies have never been as good as they are now. And part of that is the intentional playbook and reffing changes that the NFL has instituted to make it easier. You know, it used to be when you came into the NFL, you could get manhandled all the time. You know, offensively, receivers could have hands on you, DBs could put hands on you, and that was a big part of it. Now, a big part of it is just that athleticism and flat out route running. You know, it's a lot more about athletic ability than it is about technique and ability to beat press coverage or ability to do press coverage if you're the DB. And that means rookies are able to contribute a lot better and faster than normal. And we see that. Like, look at Jamar Chase. He literally sat out of football last year, and he's the
Right.
runaway favorite for offensive rookie of the year. Look at Justin Jefferson last year. You know, he had a
When you
phenomenal
got
rookie season.
studs, you know it. You
Right.
know it. You don't have to finish the whole meal before you realize the food tastes good. It's the
And,
same thing
and
with
one
rookies
point,
in the NFL.
at one point, we were arguing on Twitter earlier today about a different part of this, but one point I want to make is sometimes coaches can't see what's in front of them. Some people are more gamers, and it is harder in practice, I think, to show out as a quarterback because the pressure's not necessarily on in the same way because you can't be hit. I think it's a little slower than game speed, but the Chargers didn't start Herbert, and he went out and had the best rookie season of all time. So
I
Kyle
mean,
not starting Lance isn't necessarily Lance isn't good enough. It might be Kyle can't see what the fuck's
mm,
sorry, what's in front of him.
man, I'm really gonna have that bleep button going tonight when I make this podcast. I'm so sick of there's always an excuse for this team. Oh, it's injuries. Oh, it's the weather. Oh, it's raining. Oh, the receiver didn't put his hands up. Enough, man. The 49ers are 2-4. In a game they had to win with their season on the line, they scored 18 points. On a game they had to win last week against Arizona, they scored 10 points. Against the Seattle Seahawks, a game they really needed in the division, they scored 21 points, 3 touchdowns. That's it. Like, even a game against the Eagles that they won, they scored 17 points. Like, what? It's broken here. It is broken. They had 2 weeks to fix it against the secondary that sucks. And they couldn't even throw the ball down the field. And again, I don't want to hear about the rain because the Colts were chucking it down the field because Frank Reich figured out all we got to do is throw it deep and we're either going to get a flag or maybe we catch it. The first time they threw it deep, they got a catch and a flag, for God's sake. Like, it is crazy. By the way, no players have come to the podium yet, which is I'm trying to wait for some quotes from the players, and they haven't come yet. And I think that hopefully somebody is in the locker room screaming at this team. Like, who's going to do that? Who's going to step up and take them to task? Doesn't seem like Kyle's doing it, or if it is, it's clearly not working. It's falling on deaf ears.
That was my initial, when you said the players haven't come out yet, my thought is that's a very, very alarming sign when the coach came out to give his press conference, yet the players stayed back to talk. Like that is when it's not the coach talking to the team and getting them to rally, the coach isn't the leader anymore. Like that's extremely alarming that the players seem to be talking amongst themselves and have allowed the head coach to leave. Like that, I don't know how else to say it.
Well, sometimes players have to do
When
it
you're
themselves.
having the come to Jesus talk and the coach isn't part of it, that's normally a sign of a team that is saying we're going to do it without the coaches. You know what I mean? Like that's the players taking it on their own and saying, regardless of what the coaches want, like that's really concerning to me.
I mean, I think that this season is now about Trey Lance. Here's what it comes down to for me, Levin.
It's
When
about
the
two things. There's
well,
two
hold
things.
on, let me just express this one thought, and this is why it'll get to Lance. I now every single snap expect bad things to happen
Mm-hmm.
for the 49ers. Every single snap. If it's a run, I'm just clenched up, just praying the running back doesn't fumble it. If it's a pass, I'm expecting Jimmy Garoppolo to throw an interception every single play. The only time it wasn't like that for me this season was against the Cardinals when Trey Lance was playing. Every other time, I just think bad things are going to happen. And I'm sorry. I think that rubs off on the players. I really do. You can't tell me that they go into when it's 3rd and 25 and the Niners have a screen pass called. You think the players are leaving the huddle really psyched? Like, no. And I don't know when it flipped because in 2019, like I couldn't wait for them to call plays because everything was going their way. But now every single snap, I'm just waiting for this next shoe to drop. That's it.
So one, they call that post-traumatic stress, and that's not a joke. That's literally what you're going through. You're literally traumatized by Jimmy Garoppolo, and you have no faith that he's going to do anything. So you always expect the worst. But I don't know if you mean when it flipped in terms of you personally, when you started expecting the worst, or when it flipped for the team to be affected by it. But I think the message was clear. Once they traded up and used 3 first-round picks to get Trey Lance, that's not writing on the wall. That's writing in cement.
Right.
And that is why, like, we kind of threw it out there, and I don't think it's been quite covered the way it should have been and the way it should be now. But I don't think there's any question. This team should have let Jimmy go, gotten whatever they could in trade, or
Yes.
flat out
Yes.
released him, gone out and got one of the veteran quarterbacks and done it that way so that there's a clear, this is Lance's team. Because I think the locker room is split, and I think that's the ultimate root to all of these issues right now. Maybe not all, but a large majority of them. And honestly, we actually have a little bit of confirmation that that was the plan. Because if you remember, there was a lot of reports that Kyle Shanahan was upset that the Chicago Bears got Andy Dalton because he wanted him. Well, why would he want Andy Dalton? Because he could have gotten a cheaper alternative of Jimmy Garoppolo. Andy Dalton and Jimmy Garoppolo are remarkably similar quarterbacks, in my opinion. And I think that was the plan. And get Dalton cheaper than they had Jimmy. accept whatever trade package they could get, even if it was a swapping 7th round picks thing, to get rid of Jimmy and save a bunch of money and have that clear distinction of this is Lance's team, Dalton is only a
But
stopgap.
that's so
But
stupid.
the problem is that Kyle compounded the issue, because when it didn't happen, when they didn't get Dalton, they weren't able to do that plan. What did he do? Instead of saying whenever Lance is ready, he's going in, and we
Dude,
hope that's right away, he said, "This is Jimmy's team. This is Jimmy's team. This is Jimmy's team. Jimmy's our starter." Well, you already sent the message. You can't take it back.
they
When you
could have
trade
gotten
three
rid of.
first round, right? When you trade 3 first-round picks, the message is sent. So it's that double speak again. He's saying this is Jimmy's team and we believe in him. No, you don't. You've made that clear. You've made that abundantly clear. It falls on deaf ears to everybody, including in that locker room. And I think that is the root issue, is that he's trying to talk out of his butt by
Very
saying
difficult.
this is Jimmy's team and we believe in him. Because when you chase all these quarterbacks and you 100% confirmed it, which I think is the bigger distinction this year, because in the past they kind of denied that they were in on things. They denied that they had preliminary discussions with Brady for a while there, but they confirmed they went hard after Stafford and actually thought they were going to get Stafford. And they confirmed by trading for Lance. And they talked about how, or I guess there were reports, they never confirmed it, that they were going after Dalton. Like, it was confirmed this year that they were indeed trying to move on from Jimmy. So you can't then stand up there and say, we believe in Jimmy, because the locker room knows you don't. And I think that's why Kyle has lost some of his credibility in that locker room.
I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo. I feel the calf, but it's not hindering me at all. Then shut up about it, dude. Then shut up about it. You suck.
He was probably asked, which
He was asked, but who cares?
why are you asking? Like, there's
Just
so
say
many
no.
better questions to ask. That's something you can ask on Wednesday.
If they wanted to get rid of Jimmy, they could have gotten rid of Jimmy because they could just cut him. They could have just cut him and they would have saved all that money. So I don't want to hear that Kyle Shanahan, his real plan was to get Andy Dalton to save money. You wanted to save money, you could have got rid of Jimmy Garoppolo anytime you freaking wanted. Again, I said it again.
Could have gotten people don't like him. You're going to probably hate this, but they could have gotten Joe Flacco dirt cheap.
They could have gotten any veteran guy.
Some
Like, they could have
veteran
got
guy to come
a
in,
guy.
right.
Like, they've screwed it up every step of the way. And this is where we are now. And people are just, they're out for them. There's so many with swears that I can't put up on the screen. How about this one from Michael Murphy? When you say you have a system and it doesn't work, it's not a system. Well, it could still be a system. It's just a bad system, frankly.
It's a system that only works when you have Julio.
BP, when you keep losing with the same mistakes, then coaching is the issue. I 100% agree. That's the thing too. That's a good point. Like, where they keep losing games the same exact way again and again and again. How has nobody else on the staff been like, Kyle, we can't keep doing this, man? Like, we know this doesn't work. Anything else we try is better than this. If they tried to punt every time, it'd be better than this, because at least maybe the other team might fumble it a bunch of times. Like, anything else that you try is better than the thing that you know doesn't work.
What's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Exactly. And Kyle is there. Like, maybe it's time to ask. It sounds so weird, and I'm not ready to go there yet, but maybe that's just denial. But the only time that Kyle had a dominant offense was when he had a Julio Jones in his prime.
No, 2019 they scored. They were second in the league in scoring.
I guess that's true. They were second in the league in 2019.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, Kyle, I think it's regression all around. Like, because I've seen people say, how can Kyle be a bad coach and they made the Super Bowl with him? Well, coaches are like players, like I said. Sometimes they regress. Sometimes they get figured out. Sometimes they literally have a screw loose in their head and their ego won't allow them to make the adjustments that they need to make. And I think Kyle's right in there. And that's the point I make, because a lot of people have said, well, the players aren't executing. We see missed blocks and missed tackles and drops. That's not on the coaches. When the entire team is rolled over from previous years and they all of a sudden, all in unison, start making the same mistake or making the same mistakes week in, week out.
Right.
They start not executing well when they were executing in years past. That is a 100% sign of coach is a problem.
Because you're
With
either
the
coaching
players.
it.
The coach-player relationship is a problem. The players aren't listening to the coaches. That's what that signifies.
Because you're either coaching it or you're allowing it to happen. That's it. Like, those are the only when the 49ers have 11 or 12 defensive pass interference penalties this year, worst in the league. You're either coaching it or you're allowing it to happen. I mean, it's everybody. It's every defensive back. They can't do anything. You throw the ball deep, they can't do anything. They pee down their leg. Anytime anybody on this team is put in a big spot, other than Nick Bosa, they pee down their leg. They can't get it done. They don't know what to do. They drop the ball. They commit a penalty. It's unbelievable. Deebo Samuel catches the ball, fumbles. Like,
Right.
it's crazy.
I don't agree with that comment you have right there.
Deebo
The
Samuel is the only one playing with heart.
Like Deebo, yeah, he has heart. He always wants to earn the extra yard, but he's not the only one out there playing that way. And let's not pretend like Deebo didn't cause 2 turnovers. Like he fumbled it and he had a ball clang off his hands and go right into the defender's arms that ended the game. Like Deebo did not have a good game at all. You can say he had 100 yards. I don't care. He had 2 really bad turnovers plus 2 other plays that, one, he telegraphed a screen, 2, he dropped the ball on the screen. And guess what? If I'm not mistaken, he leads the league in drops.
Like, he's dropped a lot of screen passes.
So you can't just sit here and say he's the only one playing with heart. No, he's making a lot of mistakes himself. He's also making a lot of plays, but he's making mistakes too. And you can't say that, Trent Williams isn't playing with heart or Elijah Mitchell getting back out there isn't playing with heart. Like I don't get into that. Heart is one of those things. Very, very hard for me to say somebody's not playing with heart. Last year, Richard Sherman was not playing with heart. Like when a guy literally quits on a play, that's when I will say somebody's not playing with heart. But I don't believe that just because somebody's doing badly and not executing doesn't mean the heart's not in it.
So, all right, Levin, here we are. 2-4.
Yahoo.
Bears coming up next, then Cardinals, Rams, and Jaguars. I mean, I think the 49ers, I'm saying it now, the 49ers are cooked. They are not making the playoffs. They are not doing anything. The only value the 49ers get out of this year is by playing Trey Lance every game and letting him go through all the lumps, all the growing pains, all the stupid interceptions, all the missed reads, all that stuff. Kyle, you just got to swallow it, man, because that's what's best for this team in the long term. I don't think they're going anywhere. Honestly, even the Bengals game, the Bengals are really good. They're miles better than the 49ers.
That
I don't
offense
know.
is good.
I don't know how many more wins the 49ers have in them this year. Maybe 2 because they play the Jags and the Texans. Maybe, honestly. But I think that's it.
They'll win some games. They still have some
No,
talent.
why would they?
I think this is a 6-7 win team.
They are broken. If it's third and longer than like 3, they can't get it. They cannot get it.
You know what I want to know? And I don't know how you would easily look this up. What coach has ever kept their job
right
when they started their career or whatever, started with a team with 4 seasons of double-digit losses, which is likely what Kyle Shanahan's headed to. He's going to have 4 out of 5 seasons with double-digit losses. Has a coach ever started that way and still been employed in year 6? I would highly, highly doubt a coach has ever had 4 double-digit losing seasons out of 5 to start a career and still been a coach of that team.
I mean, I don't see what change unless they start Lance every game. That's the only thing that could have a real meaningful impact and change how this team is playing. Jimmy's not going to stop throwing interceptions. He's not going to stop fumbling the ball. Kyle's shown he's not adjusting the play calling. So what's going to change with this team? Nothing, apparently.
There's one fundamental thing. It's not how can we improve for this season. It's how can we be set up to win next year.
Yep.
That's the mentality this regime needs to have.
Figure out
players,
right
the coaches,
now.
Everything.
Do you want Brandon Ayuk on this team? Figure it out. If you don't want him, I think that's crazy, but okay. You just have to figure it out because then you can trade him in the offseason. Like, that's what this season is. Ayuk, yes or no? Kittle, can you get a deal for Kittle? Do you want Kittle next year? Can you rely on George Kittle? Yes or no? Anybody else on this roster? Any single player? Are they going to be here next year? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, put them in a position to try and develop them. If the answer is no, get them the hell off the field. And that's it. That's it for me. That's all I have to say this week.
I don't disagree. That's all there is to it. Like, I know Tart got hurt. Don't know the severity yet, but he shouldn't be starting anymore.
He got benched a couple times too.
I noticed that too.
Yeah.
If he missed a tackle, he got benched for a series or so.
Yep.
And I think it's time to go to Hufanga permanently. Might as well. You got to
Might
see what
as
he has.
well.
Tart is 100% now part of the team's future. We know that because they've had plenty of chances to give him a multi-year
Yep.
deal, and they won't do it. So there's no reason not to play the rookie there. Um, I don't know. There's other places like at this point, I don't see the point in not playing Banks.
Yep. Aaron Banks in. I would take out McGlinchey, although McGlinchey will probably be here
Yeah,
because they picked up his option. But
yeah, don't have a way out of that
I thought Moore
contract.
did
So
pretty good. I thought he was fine.
yeah, I actually did. It made me wonder if made me wonder that if you could find somebody to take on McGlinchey's 5th year after this year,
Ugh, why would anybody want him?
I know, but
What?
Moore actually looked pretty decent. That's just a knee-jerk reaction. I don't remember a lot of times with the offensive line in games, it's whether or not you remember really bad plays that they had because it's
Yeah.
hard to
True.
watch them during a
True.
game. So we'll have to watch the game film. We'll have to see if people who know offensive line much better than me see things or didn't see things, how well he actually played. But I don't remember ever at one point thinking, God, why does he have to be in? Why did Trent Williams have to be hurt?
Right. Just the fact that, like with McGlinchey, we can immediately point to multiple plays every
Yeah.
game. Like that's an improvement
Like the
over what
Jimmy
we've seen.
fumble. When Jimmy fumbled, did you see what McGlinchey was doing?
Probably turning around and running back towards the guy that had gone past him.
Oh no, he was just standing there. He'd already given up on the play.
I mean, the
He
whole team.
literally, his quarterback is surrounded and about to get hit, and McGlinchey's standing there watching. And then Jimmy fumbles it, and McGlinchey stands there and watches because he was too far away at that point because he had stopped playing.
It's a joke, man. The team is a joke right now. It is pathetic. And they're doing this to us as fans again. And we just have to sit there and watch this dreck week after week. And I give a lot of credit to the fans because there were a lot of people that stayed in that game. And I think they stayed to boo. And if you did, I'm here for that. I support you. Shout out to you because that is awesome. And that's it now. Like Grant Cohn actually retweeted Jed York's tweet from 2014 when he said like this performance was unacceptable. And like I
Mm.
almost thought that Jed had done it again because I fully would have expected him to do it.
Well, you saw me tweet it. I think you liked it. I don't remember if you retweeted it when I tweeted at Grant to please keep an eye on Jed and see if he leaves
Yeah,
this game early. So it was a legitimate that's
that's
an
gonna
interesting thing.
start again.
The game was so badly played
Hmm.
that you could see the owner walking out in disgust.
The
But
leaks are gonna start again, Levin.
you know what the worst part of all this is? Not only are the Niners bad, but Green Bay's really good. The Cowboys are really good. The
Yep.
Raiders are really good. It's like this is nightmare season. All the teams I don't like are really good, and the Niners are falling flat on their face.
Well, and here's the other frustrating thing, right? Look at the other teams in the NFC. How did they do today? Well, the Bears got whooped
Yeah.
by the Buccaneers, right? Like other things in the NFC kind of felt the Panthers got whooped by the Giants. Like if the 49ers could have won this game, they would have like had a shot to make the playoffs. Now they don't. And the leaks are going to start again, Levin. That crap is all going to start again because the 49ers are not winning. Jed stopped leaking stuff to the media because Kyle, he needed to hire a head coach and Kyle made him stop. And then they got the quarterback and they kind of won.
Who
And
does
then
Jed York leak it to? Because all of the media, other than
Mortensen,
maybe Grant Cohn,
Schefter, he leaks it to the national guys.
I guess that's true. I was
He
gonna say
does.
all the local guys are in Kyle's back pocket.
Right. When Clayton was there, he got some of the stuff too. Like I worked at ESPN. John Clayton was telling me things about the 49ers that were coming from Jed York. And one of them was the players hate Jim Harbaugh. And I think we saw that by the time that Jim Harbaugh left, they kind of did.
Yeah, he's built for college.
All
4
right.
years and then you're done with him because after 4 years you want to strangle him because he's like a petulant child with his demeanor.
That's it, man. I'm done. I gotta put together 49ers in 5, which is just going to be a festival for me, let me tell you. But anyway, everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe to the Niners Nation Podcast Network. I know you might not feel like doing it right now, but I promise you, we will make it worth your while. You've been doing a great job so far. We appreciate all the ratings, all the reviews. Please keep them coming. And let's hope this season gets turned around. Levin, thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. If you missed any of this pod and you want to catch it tomorrow, it will be there waiting for you. You can listen to any parts that you missed or rewatch the whole thing if you want to relive this misery. But Levin, thank you very much. Thanks to everybody watching. We appreciate it. And God help us. Let's hope Trey Lance starts next week.